What's going on, YouTube? So it's been a while since I did a review video, and today I'm going to do a review on the Z2. Stay tuned. Alright, so what we got here is a Ferris Z2. It's a 2017 model, and I think I've got 1166 hours on it. I don't know if you can see that. Bought this as a demo in 2018, I think, and it only had 39 hours on it. The reason I still have this on, I usually don't have these on, is because I just bought that mower and it came with the flap, but I wanted my mulch kit that was on this mower on that one. So we did a little swapperoo, and for now this is what I'm rolling with. I'm going to get a mulch kit or a block off plate for this later. So let's see, what do we have here? This has the 23-inch wheels on it. Let me get the size on that. Alright, so the tires we have on it is 23 by 10.5 by 12 Turf Smarts, but these do really well. They usually come with Turf Masters, and I prefer the Turf Smarts. The tread pattern's a lot different. I find these don't hold any kind of mud or grass and go flying off whenever you get on the concrete and stuff like that. So the engine that comes on this 52-inch standard is a Vanguard 810cc EFI 28 horsepower. This is the sticker that came off of it. I just never had a chance to glue it back on. Went flying on me when I pressure washed it one day. So the wheel motors that come on this mower is the Hydro Gear 3400 series, and they do really well. They perform well, but I gotta say I did have to replace both of them. Let me rephrase that. I had to replace one of them at 1,000 hours. It blew a seal. It leaked all the oil out, and they basically said that it was shot. You know, you might want to replace it. And I didn't want to replace just one of them and then have the other one with 1,000 hours on it. I feel that the performance would probably feel different on each side, and it would just be weird. I figured since one went out, maybe the other one's right on his way, so I went ahead and swapped them both out. I know the wiring harness on it was giving me fits when I first got it. The engine was cutting in and out without warning. Couldn't figure it out. It was real spontaneous, and it was still under warranty. I brought it in. They found the problem out right away. They replaced the wiring harness. Never had a problem since, so I don't know what was going on with that. So as far as the dashboard here, you have your brake. You have your joystick controls for steering. You got your throttle. It doesn't have a choke because it's EFI. It's got your PTO. And if you look in the hole, there's no light in there, but in the daytime you can see there's a fuel gauge in there. Here's your height adjustment and your lever, which is pretty easy to use. One thing I did do differently is I took the little keychain ring that was on it and welded a nut on it. I just find it's easier to grab and put back in position without that little keychain thing. When you're wearing gloves and stuff, it's hard to grab it. Plus the machine kind of vibrates a little bit with the blades on, and it makes this rattling sound that bugs me. So I did that to this mower and that mower. I'll probably do it to that one too. Another thing is you can adjust this part, and then you can come back, and that'll limit how far the controls can go, like if you're just learning. But it stays in the fast position for me. I don't really use that thing. It's got a 8-gallon fuel tank, which is located under this pad. And speaking of the pad, this is some OSB wood that I replaced it with. I guess probably 3 months ago because the wood rotted away from it being in the weather all the time, and it pretty much fell completely off. And I just basically took the pad apart and replaced the wood, and we're back in action with that. So one of the things that stands out compared to most of the standards out there, the feature of the PTO in this. What's really cool is you can just be mowing and jump off the machine. You don't even have to set the foot brake. Pick up a piece of trash or open a gate and jump back onto the mower. So as far as doing maintenance on this thing, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. The oil change, there's the oil filter right here. I find the best way not to make a mess with the oil here is to bunch up a bunch those shop towels underneath it, you know, the blue paper towels, and basically get something that's going to absorb anything that's going to leak down, because if you look, there's no way you're just going to put a catch under there or anything like that. So what I'll do is drain my oil out, put a whole bunch of those shop towels in it, unscrew it, and then have my other one ready to go back on. And I found that's the best way to not even leak a drop, and just, you know, pull that out and throw your paper towels away. And just above it we got the fuel filter, real easy access. I think this is a oil cooler on the engine, and the dipstick is on the other side over here, right there. This is your hydro reservoirs, your battery, and this is where you drain your oil, right there. And I found the best way to drain the oil, because the hose only comes out to about right here, is I'll put a real shallow pan underneath the deck, and I'll take a skinny funnel and wedge in between the tire and the deck, put the hose in it. That works pretty good for me. And maintenance on the hydros, I personally haven't had a chance to do that myself. I've always had the dealer do it. I went ahead and put some bang clamps on the exhaust a while back, because the heat shield on it is spot welded to the muffler, and I think it pulled loose, or the welds came loose. And ever since I did this, that fixed it, and basically just holds it real tight against the muffler. Greasing the spindles on this mower can be challenging a little bit, only because you pump the grease on the top, but there's a check valve on the bottom, so you can't really have access to it unless you jack it up. And you want to pump the grease from the top and watch from the bottom to see when the check valve opens and the grease spills out. You could do it that way, which I prefer to do that if I have the time. If you don't want to do that, you could just, you know, pump it daily. You know, pump a few pumps in it every day, just to make sure it stays greased. Spindles on this mower aren't that big. They're aluminum and kind of compact and small, versus the Hercules 2 series, which is cast iron on these. As far as the deck belt and drive belt, I only replaced them once so far, and really not because they popped on me, just because I started to see a little bit of wear on it and stretching a little bit. So I went ahead and just replaced them recently, I think at 1,000 hours. This mower is paired with the 28 horsepower and the 52-inch deck, which I find makes a great combination. Plenty of power, excellent cut quality, stripes really well. Out of all these mowers, this one is probably my favorite. It's the most versatile, the lightest. It's quick. You can jump on and off. It doesn't take much room. You can get in tight spots, ditches, hills. Highly recommend it. Alright guys, so that's my review on the Ferris Z2 52-inch standard. If I missed anything in this video, any questions, leave them in the comment. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up for me. Subscribe if you haven't done